Thank you for having me.
All right, so the man of the hour, the man with the hair on fire, Mr. Tarek. I think we want to start off with a big congratulations. You hit a pretty big milestone, and we're going to be celebrating you in August at NatCon. So well done.
Thank you. Super excited. It's a huge goal of mine, and I'm looking forward to continue to keep going.
I mean, you think about it, it is a big milestone because, I mean, obviously your compensations, going up, you're going to get a nice, I mean, you've already been making overrides, but the percentages got better. And all of a sudden now you qualify for $1 million bonus, when the $500 million mark is hit. So, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's a bigger deal now more than it's ever been. And maybe let's just start off. How long you've been in the business? How long has this journey been for you?
So I started in the business in 2012 on Verizon Fios residential, and I did that for about a year and a half, and was part of an expansion team. Moved to Direct Energy in 2013 or 2014, and opened my office on Direct Energy residential, and loved the campaign. It was simple. The highest pay that we would get was $1,000 in a week. That was like the highest roller on Direct Energy. At that time, it was great in 2014. I guess times have changed now. We have reps making 1K in a day now, which is insane. But I started on retail after COVID, and that was like the huge. They always say we have two start dates. The moment you start, the next date is the day you take stuff seriously. I really took it seriously after COVID, when I got the opportunity to hop on retail. And I think that's been life-changing to me. Lifestyle is amazing with retail. We just blew up after COVID, and we put everybody on retail, and it's the best move that we've done. And I've been running my office for 8 years now, 8 years and a half.
And why did you make that move? And why was that such I mean, obviously you brought a different mindset onto retail. I almost wonder if you had that mindset on your existing program, if you would have achieved the same result. I mean, what are your thoughts with that? Again, why did you switch over to retail?
So we switched to retail because T-Mobile actually was the campaign that we were on. We were killing T-Mobile. And then after COVID happened, we were thinking we're going to hop back on, and it just wasn't an option anymore. So the only option we had was Vivint residential, which we tried for a little bit. Great campaign. And then retail just came along in Target with 30 stores in this area. I was very hesitant to take it. I was concerned to take it because I didn't want to see any of my friends at Walmart or Target and be like, damn, this would suck if I see somebody I know to come in the store. And that was my biggest hesitation. And working on weekends, and I realized, if I'm an owner kicking ass, I probably don't need to go to the store on the weekends and just build a powerhouse office so I can just have an amazing, 3 days in the office. So I think the first year in retail was a lot of learning, figuring out the schedule, standards. So it really took a year and a half to learn retail and master it. And we learned a lot. We lost people. And then we just built so strong after the year and a half on retail. And nothing really changed. The business didn't change. It's more higher standards. And the reps were just making so much money. And I was confident in the field. I went to the field like the most I ever have in my career in 2021. And making 3K in the field as a rep, as an owner, and teaching that to some of the guys like Haney. A lot of you guys are in EDM. I went to the field with Haney a few times and really actually taught him how to sell. And he's killing it now. So, and it's just really standard systems and schedule.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but that was your reputation when you were on T-Mobile. I mean, you were a beast. You're an owner. I think you were the highest performing owner. You'd always pick up that campaign cup, and you're always the guy who'd go in the field setting the pace. I mean, you look at the rep rankings, you were at the top of the rep rankings and the top of the owner rankings. I mean, is that true, or is my memory a little off?
Yeah, T-Mobile, we demolished T-Mobile. It was an awesome campaign. I mean, they really, it was a great campaign. And again, it's just, I worked my ass off on T-Mobile. And eventually when I was stepping back from the field, about to promote one of actually now who runs an office, I was stepping back and more taking an office role, recruiting and all that. That's when COVID happened. But
Hmm.
I was really tough on standards, even on this different campaign. And I applied the T-Mobile standard to this retail thing and just increased the standard being on retail.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the campaign, it's just our business just got a lot easier, in my opinion. It's a lot, I mean, with technology that we have, processing a sale is a lot easier. I mean, on T-Mobile, we had to port customers after the sale was done, versus now we're porting customers out point of sale. So
Right.
it just got a lot easier.
Yeah. Got it.
And I didn't never change the business. I've ran my business the same way I did in 2014 with the same schedule. Only difference is we just meet in the office only 3 days in the office versus 5 or 6.
Right. Got it. And before I get into my questions with you, been a minute since I talked with you. I mean, is your mom still recruiting for you? I mean, what's going on with you and your mom?
Yeah, she recruits for me for 5 years now. She recruits for 2 of my other deals. So she's making money, and I'm promoting somebody out in 2 weeks, officially, and she's going to recruit for him. So she's going to be making 2K a week, without me paying her. So that's now I pay her a little extra. So yeah, she makes good money at home, and she's full-time mom still, oldest of 5.
I mean, she must recruit with a high level of conviction because she's recruiting people to work with her son. I mean, I don't know of anybody else whose mom is recruiting for them, but if my mom was recruiting for me, she'd make people come into my office,
And that's what she does. That's how she overcomes objections. She's like, it's a good company. Trust me, my son is the owner. And then they'll come in and yeah. So they either think she's my wife or mom. So same last name. So it's a little weird at times though.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the family business element.
Yeah.
Well, I was asking you, what you're focusing on. Obviously, I've been tracking your career. It's been a lot of fun for me, and I love seeing you get on stage. And I think you're just a stud example for all of our owners. So, I really enjoy, touching base with you. And so one of the things you said you were been focusing on, you've already alluded to this, standards. I mean, you've been raising the bar, expecting more from your people. Can you just touch on that? I mean, what exactly is your standard? What was it before? How have you consistently been raising it? Is it due to things like, well, inflation is expensive and to live in the Northeast? Just kind of touch on this whole higher standard piece.
Yeah. So DC is pretty expensive. So in order to live a good life here, they have to maintain, at least $1,200 a week. Like there's no way somebody's paying rent with under $1,000 a week. It's just impossible in this area. So we started off with the standard. Like, I think if you motivate, I don't fire people. I'm going to start bringing the standards. Like, you got to hit this in order to keep the job. I'm actually bringing that back next week. But as of now, what we were doing is we motivate by opportunity, and to be like in an alpha room versus in a sales room, which is Bravo room. So we started off at $1,000 on the campaign when we hopped on it. And then eventually we increased it to 1,200. And now it's 1,500 to even interview somebody. So somebody has to interview in order to interview somebody, they have to make 1,500 in a week to get an interview. And it doesn't mean they're going to get it, because we have reps making 2K, 3K a week. So they really have to be in the high, I would say 1,700, 1,800 a week to even interview. And the alpha room started at 800 and 1,000. Now it's $1,200. You're an alpha. So because you're an alpha doesn't mean you're interviewing. It just means you're not talking about sales, but you're talking more about bigger picture and opportunity and just more team building stuff in those meetings. Versus the Bravos or anything under 1,200 now are in a separate room just talking about sales and how to just be better.
And how quickly are your new guys catching on to things?
Very quickly. So it takes, I would say we have a guy who's been here for 3 weeks. Last week, he did 2K. And I actually went to the field with him as well to spend time with them for a few hours. And I saw him physically do $800 in a day, and he's like brand new. And he constantly the whole day talking about how he loves his job. And it's because people are making the money. We're showing them the numbers, and no one's going to leave if they're making 800 in a day.
Right.
So this new guy did it and made 2K. He was super excited about it. So I would say 3 weeks, usually they'll make 2K if they're serious about the opportunity. To like,
So your standards have gone up significantly, your people are doing better, but it's not like the commissions went up that much. I mean, it's really your productivity has driven. I mean, what do you credit that to?
I think just getting them excited to interview. So we like to get the new guy or girl to interview very quickly, early on than normal. So if they want to run an office, if they're serious about the opportunity, they see opportunity meeting, they're like, you know what, I want to be just like you. We'll tell them how to earn an interview. So 1,500 in a week, you're in the game. And then we get them to shadow very quickly early on. I think if they stay busy, they usually stay, longer.
Yeah.
They
I
get
always
excited.
like that new guy enthusiasm, right? I mean, usually a lot of the newer leaders that just, they're not crusty. They don't really know a whole lot yet. A lot of them will do well coming out of the gates because again, they're just pure. Like they've got a great attitude. They love the business. They're not tainted or jaded like somebody. So I do like kind of stacking those new guys' decks. Are you finding that as well too?
Yeah, I mean, getting them with the team, it pushes them. Like I have a guy, brand new, third week, brought a personal recruit that used to work at Sprint, both studs. So, and they get excited about bringing personal recruits in as well. So we talk a lot about personal recruiting as well.
Yeah.
Because they can't just bring anybody. They have to have the experience. These guys have sales experience, and we're very picky with personal recruiting, but we talk a lot about personal recruiting as well.
Yeah.
How it benefits them.
Awesome. One of the other focuses, to shift gears, is a successful routine. So what is your routine? What is it about your schedule that's showing your success?
Yeah, so I have the same schedule pretty much for the past year and a half. Now I just wake up earlier because I have a newborn, so that's changed a little bit. So I wake up 30 minutes earlier to help my wife feed the baby. A bottle feed her breast milk. So I'm trying to do this helping thing. So I wake up 30 minutes earlier. So I wake up at 6 now on Monday, Thursday, Friday at 6 a.m. And I get to the office by 7:30, and I'm working on the tracker teams and just planning out my critical convos I'm going to have. And that's those days. And Tuesday I come to the office at 10. And my field days, if I go to the field, it's only going to be on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm not going to go during the week. I'm going to go on the weekends where it's the busiest time and it's the easiest chance to make 1K in a day. So I'll go out on the weekends if I'm going to spend time with anybody. So it's pretty consistent, those 3 days, and Tuesday in the office. Wednesday is my only day off. Really.
So when you're in the office, you're there at 7:30.
7:30.
And when does the next person show up?
Usually the top leaders will come at 9. So I have an hour and a half, to myself, tracker, plan out my day, or like how the morning is going to look like, prepare any really convos, look at rep breakdowns, quality, and just looking at credit checks from the day before, who I need to talk to, see if they just sat around and did nothing all day. And my first interview comes in at 9 on Zoom.
Yeah.
So I have an hour and a half to just chill at the office by myself.
Yeah. So you're not winging it. I mean, you're very prepared.
Yeah, I'm prepared for sure for the day.
Right. Like I think some people, there were times in my career too, I'd show up and on the car ride to the office, I'm putting my thoughts together and I'm like, geez, I'm not adding enough value, but then the more you come in preparing, then you're going to put on a quality show. So you would agree with that statement?
Yeah, I start planning at 6 a.m. Never at night. I do it at 6 a.m. The moment I wake up, alarm, I'm up right away, get ready, get my coffee, 10 minutes coffee, chug it real quick, and then get ready. And I'm just planning out the day, and I'm here at 7:30. And then I have partnered up with a lot of my owners. So we talk a lot as well. They come in at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
To the owners.
That's great. And what's life like as a new dad now?
Amazing. No sleep for sure. Less sleep. It's not that bad. They say you're not going to sleep as long as you balance it with your partner. It definitely makes it a lot easier. So we have a good balance. I do the 12 a.m. to 4:30 shift. So anytime the baby's crying, I'm waking up during those times to feed the baby.
Well,
And then Talia will do the breast milk for the rest of the day. So she'll pump some milk in the bottle and I feed the baby, burp her, change her diaper, and go back to sleep.
well, you're a better man than me, Tarek.
Yeah.
You're a better man than me. I thought, when I became a new dad and I functioned on a lack of sleep, obviously I think that's part of the routine for most of us. I'm kind of like, how was I not more productive before I became a dad? Like I should have been a billionaire, was kind of what was going through my mind. Like how did I not accomplish more now that I got to juggle time? You kind of relate to that a little bit or not really?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's just time goes away so quickly right now with the baby, like you can't sit still. So it's a lot different. And I'm glad I worked my ass out for the past 10 years, I'm very grateful and I can really step back from my business and be with the baby. And I took 30 days off when the baby was born. I just spent quality time, didn't go to the office once, didn't pick up one call. So I got to spend really quality time.
Awesome. Grew your hair out?
You grew my hair out, looked like a mess, but I'll be back to normal next week.
Awesome. Well, this will be my last question / subject, and I'll open it up to the rest of the team here. But your other focus was on always having 7 first-gen reps in your office. So just touch on that, the whole multiple crews, 7 first-gen.
Yeah, I think it's super important to have, depth in your office because I've been in a situation where I wasn't growing. And it's because I had everybody on one team. And the problem with that is you're relying on this one leader to build an office versus if you have 7 different team builders, 7 different teams, you're always going to have at least 25 to 30 guys. If you have multiple, team builders. So I have 7 core leaders right now building their teams. And it definitely helps a lot when everybody's going to the same goal, which is opening an office, because you have team production that hits hit there, another team that needs to hit the production versus, everybody's one. The problem is if you have 5 people under one team building, then, the production is not going to be as high as you want it to be. Versus if you have 7, you have 7 different leaders trying to hit a system manager where they need to hit at least 5K in team production. I mean, that itself is going to blow your office up if you have a lot of team builders.
Yeah. I heard John Black say the exact same thing. He's in Montreal, and I think he might have the world record as far as the biggest head count in an office. I think he had 140 reps at one point in time, but I saw him draw out the math in a meeting where 7 first gens, here's the math of it all. And he put his money where his mouth was. I mean, he always had a big office, still does.
I actually got that from John Black.
What was that right?
Yeah, years ago. This was a long time ago, and it always stuck. I always remember that. That's like the biggest thing that I kept, and it's helped a lot, and I've always maintained that years in business.
Very good. All right, well, let's open it up, guys. What questions do we have for our latest consultant?
Just a comment. Congrats, man. That's freaking awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. No questions.
Go ahead, Steven. You don't have to raise your digital hand. You can just run with it.
Yeah, always gets kind of weird when like 5 people unmute at the same time and jump in or whatever. But I was curious. You mentioned that you get to the office at 7:30. Some of the owners are getting in at 8, and then your leaders are getting in there. Besides just kind of the basic planning of like, hey, I want to run my meetings on this, write outs and store assignments, stuff like that. A little more specifically, what are you actually doing with that hour and a half? And then what's kind of the rest of your day look like after atmosphere and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the moment I walk in, I'm doing store tracker. So I have a tracker, I put teams up, assign where everybody's going to go for the day. We have, 8 offices here that's partner up with, which is stupid. I don't recommend it, but we have 8 owners here partner up with us. So it's like a shit show, when everybody's doing the tracker at once. So I do it early, and then everybody, does their stuff because usually they come after. So that the tracker itself, updating the stores and the territory itself takes about 30 minutes. You know, sometimes I'll look at it, delete it. I see this person needs help. I need to move people around. So I just play around with the teams for about 30 minutes myself. And then when the leaders start coming in, I ask them, what do you think? Do you want to go with this guy or this guy? So I get the leaders involved when they come in, like 9:30. And I plan out if I have time, I'm not meetings. Usually I'm not on it every day. So my outside deals are running the meetings, but I'm on a meeting tomorrow. So I'll have that planned, already tonight, but I'll just recap it the next morning. So it takes me like 5-10 minutes to just recap the meeting that I typed up, and maybe I need to change something. I need to look at the production. Maybe it was a really bad sales day. Maybe I need to focus on something else, get them excited about, the opportunity more, or bring the energy. So it really depends on what the office needs, because the meetings can change, depending on the production. And I make sure the base as well. I have increased base pay for some individuals, so I make sure they're hitting that base. If I want to attract talent, I've been offering a crazy base to individuals to bring people in. So I'm keeping track to make sure they're actually hitting above that base as well. If I need to CC, be like, hey, I need to lower that base. So I'm tracking supplemental pay. Offer a base to people, $800 to some people in a week. And I've only maybe paid it once to somebody. And I think it's just in the mindset. And, with that base, it allows me to attract people. So I work on that a lot. See, maybe I need to hire somebody's base, because I see a lot of potential and I don't want to pay them just $500 a week. Maybe give them a chance.
Great.
Tarek, what was your thought on like having 8 offices in one location? Like, was that a strategy? Was that just
So
need for it? And why not more locations? Was there an advantage to that?
So we had, during COVID, we had to shut down, we shut down a few offices, retrain. So one was a retrain. They just stayed here. And 3 of them are in Maryland. So in DC, we have Maryland is like 20 minutes away. So they have their own territory. But their lease was ending and they needed help to grow. So I just brought them back, and being all on retail, it's just a lot easier to manage here in this area. We have about, I think 60 stores, and I couldn't staff all of them. So I had to move everybody on retail to help staff. So we just have a lot of stores, and it was just easier to manage everybody here. I mean, I don't recommend it, but some people don't want to leave, but there's no one else going to stay here. There's no way. We have no room. We get road trips out to Richmond now. So we're trying to be creative, but 8 deals, it's a lot of fun though. I mean, 7 of them are my best friends. Well, 1 is my wife, right? 6 of them are like really my buddies, and they're my groomsmen, so I enjoy having them here. The other one is a girl I promoted. I care about her, but they're not like as close as the buddies I have here. It's just fun to have them here.
I mean, it really is a family business, from your mom. I mean,
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I just built that relationship with them since they started, and we became just best friends. And I enjoy just hanging out with them, see them every day. So it's a fun time. And the rent is cheap. Our rent is $8,000 here. So we split it 8 ways. We pay $1,000 each. So we save money for sure too. Problem here being in DC, if you want to get in a space, you can't get anything less than $6K. If you want to in a good area, you have to be in a specific area here to recruit like great, really good talent. And we only use the office 3 days. Office space is like short term, and we recruit 8 different names. We all have good recruiting.
What's it like recruiting in a government town like DC?
It's very competitive. And this is why I have to offer a base to people $800 to lock somebody in. $800, $900 to just lock people in. And we just keep track, make sure they're not below. And to make sure they don't talk to other leaders about it, I just let them know that, hey, you're the only one that's getting this. Don't talk about it with anybody. Your base is 800, right? So anytime you're below 800, you're gonna get 800. Anytime you're above, you're gonna not get 800. You're gonna get what's more. And I've been retaining people that way. I've some really good people because of that base. And I had a guy decline the job last year because the base was 500. And I called him back and offered him a base of 750. And he has one of the biggest teams right now in the office. So I think you just have to, don't be scared to, shoot your chance if, because one person can change the game in your business. And if worst case, if they don't hit it, just take it away, 500. But you're going to make money off somebody making over $800. So it's like a risk that you got to take if you see that potential.
Yeah, and you're managing it, you're hands-on, so you're having the crucial convos if they're dipping, like, dude, I thought you were a 750 guy. I mean, maybe you are a 500 guy, so I'm assuming in those crucial convos, people are stepping up.
Yeah, for sure.
But-
Most guys are 500, 550. Then I have a few guys at 750 and then 3 guys at 800. So it varies between 500 to 800.
How do you do the math on who gets what? Obviously you could haggle with somebody and kind of go back and forth in that final interview, but like, what would make the difference between 750, 800? What would it take to give somebody $1,200? Like, what does that look like?
1,200. I don't think I would offer 1,200 if I really want the person. If I know they're going to make, the thing is, if I know they're going to be good, they're going to make above 1,200. It's just like, it just makes them feel comfortable. It's like in their mind, like just that stability. They just feel better when we say, hey, you're getting a base of 800 and you'll never end up paying the base. Like I've maybe paid it again once or twice to these guys. So you have to just be careful who you offer to. Like I have another guy, I offer 750. He used to work at Smart Circle, selling the same stuff, like same campaign down the street from here. And I really wanted it. He hopped on Zoom. He said, you know what? Oh, I do this right now. I don't want to do this. He hopped off. 5 minutes later, he hopped on my Zoom and we just spoke, and said, hey, let's just come to the office. I got something for you. And I knew like I needed to offer him something different. And he was good. I actually called DSI, they pulled his sales and I'm like, damn, this guy's consistent. So his name is Joshua Fuller and he's pretty good in the field, and he's just a sales guy. He doesn't want to build a team. I'm cool with that. He's making me money, so base is 750. I've never paid that base to him. He's always above 750. And that's the number we agreed on. I said, hey, what does it take for you to take the job? He said, give me a base of 750. I'll take it. And he took it. So, and that same guy came to me, asked me for a 4-day work week last week. I said, okay, just bring me 1,500 a week. You can keep your 4-day work week. At first I was like, 5 days. I never do this with anybody. Like he came up to me and said, hey, I want to work 4 days. I'm like, what? Why? Like first I got emotional. Like, what? You can't work 4 days. You need 5 full days. I'm giving you a base of 750. He said, I tracked it down. I don't work Sunday. I work Tuesday. 9% of my sales, I get Tuesday. I could do my production those 4 days. So I did it and he's happy and he brings me money. That's why I look at it. At the end of the day, we make money off when these guys sell. We take care of them. They're happy. They're going to perform. Flexibility is a huge thing that I changed, over the years. I'm just more flexible with guys. If they don't want to work weekends, that's fine. You could do Monday through Friday. Just get the job done.
Yeah. That's great, Tarek.
I think we lose people because of that. It's like, oh, you got to work Saturday and Sunday. We'll encourage it. We'll give them the option to do either one, but we will push the weekend. But if they can't, we'll give them Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
How long do you give someone if they're not hitting those standards? If you set it at like 800, is it 1 week they hit it, they're done? Like how long would someone, if they ever dropped below that?
If I'm offering somebody 800, I just know they're going to do well. It's just my gut feeling. So if I see it multiple times that I have to pay it, then I'll have a convo, but I haven't done it yet. Like I haven't you know, it's in the mindset. You know, if they have experience in sales, I'm offering that 800 base to attract that person. You know, if I really believe in somebody, I'm going to offer them that high base, competitive supplemental pay. You know, because we have the competitor down the street from here. What are they going to offer? I got to give them something else. I can't just give them a 500 base. They can go work at Booz Allen down the street, Deloitte. You know, we're competing with the big four here too. They're all here. You know, so we need something to get them attracted to do what we do.
I'm just a little confused. Like, why would the guy that you started, would he need 750? Like, if he was doing the same job, wouldn't he also already be making more than 750? So why was the 750 important to him?
Exactly. I don't know. That's what he wanted. You know, he quit that job, he was working at Goodwill for a few months. So he was doing that in the past, but this was pretty recent. So he worked at Goodwill. I think Goodwill was paying him 700 a week. So maybe he just wanted stability. You know, so, but he said he never made over 1,000 in Smart Circle, but with us, he was making 2K a week, 1,500, 2K. You know, so I was just very confident with his experience that we can offer him a competitive base. You know, it helps a lot. Just giving them that flexibility, that option.
Well, Tarek, I appreciate you hopping on. I look forward in 2 months from now or a month and a half, we'll be celebrating you in Austin, Texas. And I'm really looking forward to that, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Guys.
Thank you.